Hey everyone, this is PJ Farley from Fozzy. May the rock be with you.
Hey, PJ, how are you, man?
Hey Troy, how you doing, buddy?
Good, great to talk to you.
You too, man. What's
Cool.
happening?
Oh, it's Saturday morning. It's nice and early, and what a better way to start my day.
Rise and shine.
That's it, man. Hey,
I
look,
still got my Friday night ahead of me.
what time? Where are you?
I'm in New Jersey,
Ah,
in
of
the
course.
US.
Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, what is it over there?
It is 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. Friday night.
I've already had that. It's all good.
I'll
It
be
works
on
out
your
well.
I'll be in the same clock as you in 2 days.
Yeah. Am I correct in saying this is your first time in coming to Australia?
It is
That's pretty
unbelievable.
exciting.
At 32, 33 years doing this as a touring musician, I've never been to Australia.
All right. Well, I'll say welcome in advance, and I'll say hi in Sydney, but we'll welcome to Australia.
Thank you very much. Can't wait.
Oh, nice. Now, you are here for shows with Buckcherry. Of course, you're with Fozzy now. What can we expect at these shows?
A lot of fun. First and foremost, we're traveling a long way, so we're not going to leave anything out there. Um, we're coming out for a good time.
Yeah, nice. I think Buckcherry and Fozzy have toured Australia together about almost 10 years ago, and I went, and that
I think
was amazing. Both bands have stepped up their game. It's going to be an insane show. I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now,
sounds
you've
good.
been, oh, yeah, it certainly does. You've been in Fozzy for a couple of years now, and after what we're going to call the big break, let's say, how's it been actually getting out and playing shows with the band?
It's been amazing. I mean, since my first show with the band, it was just like it was. I like to say it was like an old shoe. It's like, oh yeah, this one fits.
Yeah,
This one
nice.
works just right. I think the feeling was pretty mutual. It was just really easy. I was just filling in at first, and then I felt like for me and apparently to them too, it felt like I'd been there for a while. And I'd only known Chris. I knew, I'd met the guys once before on the Jericho cruise,
Mm.
briefly, but I didn't know anyone else in the band or the crew for that matter. And so just kind of getting on the bus cold, so to speak, and just getting up on stage cold, it was just kind of like really easy.
You'd never crossed paths with Rich Stuck Mojo before?
Not in Stuck Mojo, no. I mean, I bumped into him once at NAM
Mm.
like a couple of years ago. We said hi, in passing. Um, you know, little chit chat on the boat here,
Yeah.
but not much at all.
Nice.
No.
Now, Fozzy, though, is a little heavier and different to your other musical ventures. Did you have to do anything to adapt to the sound or style when you joined Fozzy?
Not necessarily. The one thing, because there's another band that I've been in for about almost 20 years called Ra, which is in the same active rock world.
Mm.
So I mean, I'm used to playing all different kinds of music, but I would say, in Fozzy, I play with a pick, um, pretty much 100% of the time.
Yeah, right.
So, which I do on occasion when need be, but as of late, I've been playing primarily with Eric Martin for Mr. Big,
Mm.
where I don't use a pick. Um, and anything else I've been playing, I've been using my fingers for the most part. Every once in a while, if something calls for a pick, but so it was kind of cool to get that up and running, get my pick chops up again.
Yeah. How do you go when you're playing with Eric Martin and you've got to essentially do the Billie Jean parts? I mean, that guy's like a up here. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, tell me about it. Um, well, luckily, he's been an inspiration and somebody I've looked up to since I was a kid. I mean, I saw him play in Tallis opening for Yngwie Malmsteen, and I
Wow.
got a Billy Sheen. I got his pick that night, and he doesn't play with the pick either. Um, so I know those parts pretty much. Not saying I play them like him, but I know them well enough. Just because it's part of my upbringing, really, and I was always a big Mr. Big fan, and
Mm.
so I can't play like him. I don't try. I will get the bullet points of the songs, and I just step up my tapping game a little bit, which is something I never really did. Um, and I get it to a point to where I can, if you're listening to it live, you're gonna go, oh, damn, that was it, that was a part. But man, he has just so much vocabulary, and it's just like Tourette's
Yeah.
that I don't play like that. So I kind of lay back a little bit more and let the song do the talking. And I wouldn't even want to do that, play like him during on those songs, because that's him.
Mm.
That's all him. The parts, the signature parts, I got those. But sometimes he just goes off, and it's like, that's Billy. I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah, amazing. Now, in terms of like touching the songs and stuff like that, the Fozzy catalog, it's a great back catalog. Do you have a favorite that you like to play though?
God, there is so many fun songs. I mean, Drinking with Jesus is a
Yeah.
really great live song. Purifier off the new record's a great live song. Um, Enemy is one of my favorite live songs, but just because it's kind of the centerpiece of the set, and
Mm.
Rich and Billy have this awesome guitar battle during the middle of it, and where me and Chris just go in the back and kind of fade into the darkness and let them have the show, and it's just a brilliant part of the set. Yeah, God, I mean, really, the whole set is just fun. There's nothing that I can think of that is really like, get through this one.
Nice. Good to hear. At least you won't get bored. That's the main thing.
Right. Nope.
Yeah. Now, Boombox is finally out. I know there was that little, hiccup of when it was coming out, what happened, and now you're playing the shows. What's it been like seeing the reactions to the new material?
It's been great. Ironically, we've been playing almost half of it live for about a year or so.
Yeah.
I mean, unbeknownst to us, I mean, I think maybe it was the last fall tour we realized that, like, man, we're playing like 5 songs off the new record before it even came out, and nobody was like going to get a drink or going to the bathroom. They were just banging along to it, and like to the point where like we didn't even realize we were doing this to the audience. We wanted to play the songs. So now coming back out with the record being out, like over the spring when we played, and we just got back from the UK. It's great now that they know the songs. Like Nowhere to Run has been a single that was out for a couple of years already. Sane has been out. I Still Burn's been out for quite some time now. So we're 3 singles deep into it already. And, but yeah, it's great to see the reaction now that they know it.
Mm. And it has been done for a while. And like you said, the singles have been around for a while. In that time, has there already been work on new material at all?
There's stuff kind of drips and drabs that are starting to come about. Yeah.
Can't say too much.
Yeah. I mean, not much. I mean, we're not, I mean, we're still very much celebrating this record and touring on this record. We really believe in it. We think it runs pretty deep. I mean, front to back, there is no filler on this record. So, we're not really thinking about a new record right
Fair
now.
enough. No, you never know. Yeah. Sometimes if the album's been sort of shelved for a couple of years and there's nothing else to do, people are just writing new stuff and essentially have new albums ready to go sometimes.
Yeah.
But coming into an established band and Chris Jericho being the rocker that he is, was he starstruck he had a member of Trixter in his band?
Yes. Of course. No, I mean, Chris, ironically, Chris was a big Trixter fan when we came out, and that's how we met. Eddie Trunk introduced he and I through. We went to dinner one night, probably 15 years ago, something like that, and we just talked music nonstop. And I was surprised at how well he knew our catalog. And still to this day, we'll be riding on the bus and he'll put on the Trixter pay-per-view special. We'll have to sit there and watch it. So it's cool for me, I mean, that he enjoys what I do as much as I enjoy what he does. It's a mutual respect there. And we grew up in our careers, and he pointed this out. Our careers, like, we're very much the same. He's a year older than me, I think, but our careers were bubbling at the exact same time. And so we were kind of going through it all together, unbeknownst to each other, at the same kind of age. So it was kind of cool.
Very cool. Now let's look back over your career. It can be very easy to say what can change over time, right? But what for you is the one thing that's always remained the same in what you do?
Only the thing that remains the same in what I do is that I mean what I do. There's been there's just how do I put into words, like I've never phoned in or not been passionate about getting up there, and I get out on the road or doing anything like that, that pertains to playing music. And my appreciation for being able to do what I do, I mean, is I I couldn't put into words, because so many people would love to do what I do and be able to make a living at it for as long as I've been doing it, and able to remain relevant, and you know just as lucky as I've been. I mean, the appreciation is what keeps me humble and hungry. I still approach every gig like, I'm happy to be here. I appreciate it, and now I'm going to kick some fucking ass.
Nice.
You know,
Excellent. Yep, I love that. Now, this is time for the geek out part of the interview for me. I have to ask, what's the status of Trixter?
Trixter is basically whittled down to just Steve and I doing acoustic versions of the songs, and he and I sing the songs, and we do, some of the obscure stuff. We do some of my solo stuff. We do some of the covers that we've done. It's just, that's what it really comes down to. I mean, our singer really, he doesn't have time for Trixter. He hasn't for years, and the last couple of years that we were going out doing shows, was kind of uh you know not to say a hassle, because he enjoyed himself, but it was just a little bit more effort than he was prepared to put in. So it was kind of like pulling teeth to get him to commit to some shows towards the end there. And then, it's just one of those things where life gets in the way, and, you just can't do that fly date we weren't playing that much to begin with.
Mm.
So when you get a life at home and you're in that groove, it's hard to say, oh, I'm going to go away for the weekend, every other month or twice a month or something. And, just kind of sort of became not a priority, which it happens.
Yeah.
So, and at that point, Steve and I started playing with Eric Martin. I released solo records, and then the Fozzy thing. So I mean, Steve was on retainer with Def Leppard. It was like we all had a lot going on, so we weren't we kind of saw the writing on the wall. And I mean, look, there was a little bit of drama there with back a couple of years ago, obviously. And But at the end of the day, I don't think that would have changed anything, because, like I said, I don't think we could be out doing shows at this point anywhere. I just don't think Pete is there, and
Yeah.
I support it. It is what it is. He's always welcome. If he ever calls me, he goes, "Hey, why don't we do a show or two?" I'm like, "Great, let's do it."
Nice. Well, that's a good answer. Now, one of my favorite things you've ever done is 40-Foot Ringo with Steve. Now, I just want to say thank you for a killer album. And my one question for this one is, do you love that album as much as me and my mate Chris do?
I do. I do love that record, because that was such I mean, me and Steve put everything we had into that band, as many times as we named it. And we really, really believed in it. We thought we had kind of our finger on the pulse, and it was just as good as anything coming out at that time. And, I believe that we were just in a fight we couldn't win at that time. It didn't matter if we came out with Sergeant Pepper's. It just wasn't gonna land coming from the two guys in Trixter. So, you know, but I think we made a great record. And like yourself, people talk about that record like this little teeny tiny cult following it has. So I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, you got two of us down here that love it. So
great.
Yeah. Now, lastly, what I do with everyone, I get them to look ahead to the future. So I want you to finish this sentence for me. In 2023, Fozzy will
have a platinum record with Judas, maybe. Maybe have a new song by the end of the year. I don't know. Have done a buttload of touring, and really just continued the upward trajectory that this band has been on, which is amazing for a band that's been around as long as it has been. It's just been getting upward, and hopefully that continues. And I think it will, because we're firing on all cylinders. And you know what happens when that happens.
see what happens. It's going to be fun. Thank you, man. I'll see you when you land, and I'll see you on the 3rd in Sydney.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Troy.
Bye.